How does a government shutdown affect real estate? Well, so long as it doesn't drag on too long, it's primarily contained to the origination of residential mortgages, which can actually be kind of a big deal because the vast majority of transactions involve a loan, and the vast majority of transactions are residential. And so if that mortgage does not originate, if the loan doesn't fund, that means the deal doesn't close, and that's no good. So it does have an impact, and it turns out the United States government has many roles related to mortgage origination. And so that's what I'm going to share with you in this video so you can learn more about how a government shutdown could impact what you have going on. I'm Phil Pustiovsky, by the way, with freedommentor.com. I'm a full-time real estate investor, real estate mentor, and educator for over 15 years now. I'm best-selling author of several books. My first book, How to Be a Real Estate Investor, I give away for free in these videos. All right, so let's talk about where the government's role is in the origination of mortgages. We're going to start with conventional. You may have heard that before when a mortgage broker or a loan originator says that a loan is going conventional. What that means is that when the loan is originated, it's going to be sold on the secondary mortgage market, primarily to organizations like Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. So conventional has its own set of guidelines that must be followed in order for that mortgage company, that bank, to flip or sell that loan on the secondary mortgage market. That's right, I just said that. So the majority of banks, the majority of mortgage companies, they're in the flipping business too. They flip loans. They originate the loan, they package it up, they make sure all the guidelines are set, and then they sell it as soon as they originate it. Okay, so on the secondary mortgage market, the conventional mortgage market, there are some guidelines that must be followed that the government plays a key role in. And the first is the Form 4506T. 4506T. These are the tax transcripts that a underwriter is going to request directly from the IRS. And they want to verify your tax returns, because you usually provide, as a borrower, your tax returns when you are submitting your application for a loan. They're going to verify those by looking at what the IRS has in their transcripts. Well, when the government shuts down, the IRS goes on to a kind of a skeleton crew, and getting these transcripts can take a lot longer. All right, the next thing that happens on the conventional side is a lot of times they're going to get federal verification of the Social Security number, you as the borrower. And that's the Social Security Administration. And they're also on skeleton crew. So what can end up happening is these two items are not easy to obtain. Either it takes longer or they flat out just don't get them. So how does that impact a loan? Well, number one, the loan just doesn't get originated. But that's typically not going to happen if it's a really short-term government shutdown. What's usually going to happen is the lender, because remember the mortgage company or the bank is originating the loans and then they got to flip it. So they're typically going to still originate the loan, but then they can't immediately sell it on the conventional mortgage market. They've got to get their hands on these two things. And then in some cases, if it drags on, maybe the conventional Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac side of things will allow them to let that slide, or they'll get it later. But this can delay things at the very least on the conventional side. All right, so moving beyond the conventional, and this, by the way, this is a huge chunk of all the loans that are originated are on the conventional side. So this is the primary impact most of you watching, if you're in the middle of a deal right now, might get hit with. Okay, the next is what I'm going to call the government-backed loans. Okay, and then these are a little bit different. So if the conventional market, they're selling the loan to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. With a government-backed loan, it's the same bank or mortgage company might be originating the loan, but they're going to get a guarantee from either FHA, VA, or USDA Rural. Okay? Now, with FHA, they are going to be on a skeleton crew as well. Up to 95% of the HUD employees are off in a government shutdown. So getting an FHA guarantee, that can be difficult, especially as it drags on. Now, for single-family homes, they put those at the highest level of priority with that 5% of people that are there. And so you might be able to still get the guarantees. Or, in many cases, the lender might decide they're going to go ahead and roll the dice and originate the loan thinking they'll get the guarantee once things open up. But if we're talking about a multifamily, if we're talking about a HELOC or a reverse mortgage, no. That no-go with FHA because that's not as high of a priority to them, okay? VA, I'm going to put a check mark. VA is fiscally funded throughout 2019. They're good. They're going to be working full-time. The entire staff will be there. If it's a VA loan, no problems. All right, USDA Rural, that is a no-go. They are not going to be giving guarantees at all in a government shutdown at this point. So, whereas FHA has some people to do it, none for USDA Rural. It would be really at the lender's risk to originate that loan without getting that guarantee. So there is certainly a possibility if you're about to sell a property to someone and get a USDA Rural loan, there's a government shutdown, that might stop it until things open back up. VA, you're in good shape. FHA, it's going to be hit or miss on that one. Obviously, single-family homes is going to be the highest priority. All right, and so after this, there's one more piece of the puzzle, and it's the smallest piece of the puzzle, and it's flood insurance. And you may have seen this in the news recently. Flood insurance, this program is struggling. They're losing so much money. They've been kicking the can down the road, if you will, by not making a final decision. They just keep postponing the decision. Well, in the event of a government shutdown, these flood insurance policies are not being issued. So there's a couple of things. First of all, in some cases, the buyer can get the seller, they can assume the seller's policy. So that might be a fit. There's the idea of private insurance. I don't have a ton of experience with private flood insurance. I have quite a few flood insurance policies on properties I own, but they're all the federal-backed flood policies. And then also, this goes back to what I was talking about up here. In a lot of cases, they'll get some level of flexibility here, especially if it's short term. They'll get flexible and say, okay, if the money for the flood insurance policy is put into escrow at the time of closing, even though the insurance policy hasn't been issued yet, they might move forward with that loan. So I'm not as much worried about this, and I don't think you should be as either. The flood insurance is probably, in most cases, not going to impact you either. So this right here is where it all comes together. This is where a government shutdown can affect real estate, and it's specifically the origination of mortgages. All right, well, I hope this helped you in some way. And if you're watching this going, well, Phil, but can you just summarize it for me? What's this mean? All right, I'll summarize it. I have a lot of deals going right now. I can explain it in simple terms. It means that you may have to be patient. The deal might not close on time. It might take a week, 2 weeks, longer for the deal to close. Yeah, that might be a concern of you. I get it. Well, the way we solve this problem, because whether it's a government shutdown or there's always something in real estate that could postpone a closing, the key is to have a lot of deals going. That way, as deals are closing, you're stockpiling cash all the time, and then if just one of these hiccups occurs, it doesn't get you down. It doesn't disrupt your flow. So, and if you want to learn how to do that, check out our apprentice program where my coaching team and I, we take people that are absolute beginners and we turn them into first-class, market-leading, money-making machines. And we show them exactly how to be in this business right so they're successful. And also, as I said at the beginning of this video, if you want to get access to my book, How to Be a Real Estate Investor, I give that away for free on these videos as well. And if you have any other questions, just put them down below here, comments, and I'll carve out time out of my schedule to answer those. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.